All right, guys. It is February the 26th, year of our Lord 2025. Uh, as far as news goes, it's pretty much just waiting on all the indictments, all the stuff to start rolling downhill. Because we are at the top of the hill, things are fixing to go down. We've got a little plateau, and then it's going to go downhill. What I mean by this is Trump's been in office for 35, 37 days, something like that. It takes time to investigate, especially with all the corruption that's been going on. It's going to take time for all this stuff. And what I mean by the plateau is it's going to be a flat surface for a brief period of time before things really start heating up. And then it's going to go downhill. And basically for us, it's going to be going downhill instead of it going us fighting uphill all the time. I'm going to say by July, we should see a big difference from when this year started. That's what I'm expecting. That's what I believe in. So as far as news goes, all I'm going to say is this: hang in there. Things are happening, just not as fast as everybody wants it to happen. But things are happening. All right. With that being said, I know last night I went on a little bit of a tirade. Sorry about that. I try not to do those very much, but we've got to stop throwing ourselves into worldly stuff. My idea of a perfect house and my wife's idea of a perfect house is two different houses. But we both agree that we would live in them. So, how big I want the house and how big she wants the house is two different houses. So, if we're constantly worrying about worldly things instead of what we need, how are we going to get ahead? You need to stop and realize sometimes it's not about what you want, but what you need. But I need my finances. Okay, God will make sure you have your finances to take care of you in a time of need. Everything else is a luxury. You got food in your stomach. You've got a roof over your head. You're staying warm. And you have a way to get out and do things, right? What else do you need? God's already given you what you need. It's the fact that you're wanting more. You're wanting a fancy laptop. You're wanting fancy stuff from Amazon. You're wanting all these things instead of getting what you need. You can go in anybody's house and you can find things that they actually don't need, but they've got luxury items. Do you need a TV? No. I would say a phone is a necessity, but not a need. It's borderline. This way you can stay in touch with your family, in case something happens. But do you need it? No. Do you need a fancy fireplace in your house? No. Do you even need a fireplace in your house? No. If you need to, you can put in a wood-burning stove, and that's all you need. And that will heat the house all winter and crack windows in the summertime, and you're good. You don't need $20,000 fireplace. You can actually get a wood-burning stove for about $200. That's all you need to stay warm in the winter. And to be honest with you, you don't even need that. There's ways you can keep yourself insulated in the wintertime and keep yourself warm to where your body doesn't freeze. But it takes a little bit of learning things to do that. Is it rough? Yes. But it can be done. But a lot of people don't want to spend time learning stuff like that. So things like that get lost through history because people don't want to spend time learning these things. And that's what I'm saying. What you need and what you want is two different ballgames. I remember when I was a kid in Sunday school, one of the Sunday school teachers told us, if you give a man a fish, every day he's going to rely on you to give him that fish to eat. If you teach the man how to fish, he can feed himself and his family for years to come. So we need to reteach ourselves basics, survival things. In my opinion, every guy on this planet should know how to hunt and fish. Every woman on this planet should know how to cook, not just the men, but all the women should learn how to cook too. This is where, in today's age, everybody starts losing their minds. What? You telling women what they need to do? Yeah. All women need to know how to cook, using nothing but what you have on hand. If all you have is flour, eggs, beef, you need to know how to make something out of that. If your significant other is out doing the hunting, then you need to put forth the effort to know how to do the cooking. Because it's not his job to hunt it, clean it, and cook it, and make sure you got enough for the next few days. That's not his job. His job is to hunt and clean it. Your job is to cut it up, divide it up, and cook it. So, am I wrong in that? Everybody wants to talk about marriage as a partnership. I guess it's only when it's convenience. It should be a partnership. But when you're 10, 11, 12 years old, you should be out learning how to hunt, fish, and stuff like that. So, that's my opinion. Because when I was tall enough to be able to reach up to the gun cabinets and my grandparents, my grandfather taught me a very valuable lesson. He told me to reach up and grab a hold of a gun, and he smacked the crap out of my hand and said, "You don't play with that until I tell you you can touch it. If I don't hand it to you, you do not play with it." So, there was that. I know this isn't getting into the biblical things, but we really need to get back to basics. We really need to get back to God and country instead of relying on God to fix everything. And bail us out every time that we need something done. That's not God's role. God is a provider, that is true. But God's role is not to bail you out of every situation because you don't want to be prepared for it. When God says to get rid of the worldly things and to look at Him, that means all worldly things. That doesn't mean look at Him through your phone or a computer screen or anything like that. You need to really focus on Him. And I know it's easier said than done, but I promise you, if you have nothing to do for a week, you're not able to leave your house for a week, there's nothing, you can't get on your phone, you can't get in, you can't watch TV, nothing like that. What are you going to do? That's when I would be focusing on God. At that moment in time, I'd be focusing on God. I would be meditating. I would be praying. You need to find your own little personal space in the house, a corner, a cubby hole, an actual closet, whatever you're needing to do. And that needs to be your place to pray. And you need to sit down and start getting serious with God. Even in a small confined space, it may be multi-purposed, but there is space for you to use for meditations and for prayer. You can use the same space. Because in a way, you're utilizing the space for the same things. Because all meditation is trying to get to a higher level mentally. And the best way to do that is through God. So even when you're not fixated on God, you're working on yourself for healing. You're trying to, focus on your breathing, things like this, to where when you're excited or something, you don't show it because you're breathing. It's the same thing. It is, but it isn't. I get it. People are going to say, oh, it's not meditation. It's not the same thing as meditating on God. No, but you still have to find yourself while you're looking for God too. So that's what I'm talking about. Looking for God and looking for yourself is the same thing. My opinion. Someone, I'm trying to remember their name. Someone in my past said something to me. It was a girl I went to church with. Man, we were kids. But what she said was that she believed that you can't love God without loving yourself. You can't know God without knowing yourself. As a kid, you're given a little bit of a pass because you just don't know any better. As an adult, you know better. And you're not given a pass. Unless you are cut off from all aspects of learning about God. And there are some cultures out there that are cut off. Those people would more than likely get a pass because they don't know anything about it. But a lot of Christians are not going to make it into heaven because they think just knowing the scriptures is all there is to it. They don't have to put faith in it. They don't have to believe in God. They don't have to do anything like that. And a lot of people are going to be turned away because God doesn't know you. Because the only thing God says is you have to believe in Him and His Son. So it's easy to talk a talk and walk a walk. It's harder to believe. In my opinion, I would say it's harder to run your mouth about something that you don't know anything about. But some people do that with very little problems and with a certain authority to where they're believable. Those are the scary people you need to watch out for, because they'll lead you down a dark and lonely path because they're down that path themselves and they don't know how to get out of it. And they will trick and manipulate you down that path. Because in the Bible, it clearly states, Jesus says, the only way to my Father is through me. Believe in me, and I will tell my Father your name and put you in the book of life. That's how you get to heaven. Doesn't matter how many good deeds you do. It doesn't matter it doesn't really matter what you do to a degree, as long as you do not defame God. And I think there was one other unforgivable sin, which nobody really talks about. But when you do mess up, ask God for forgiveness, and He forgives. Your balance is scratched off. You're back at zero. But remember, believing is one thing. Knowing is different. Do I know God's out there? No. Do I believe? Yes. Like, I know if I punch a wall, my hand's going to hurt. Possibly break. But it's probably going to hurt my hand. Do I believe that if I punch a wall, nothing's going to happen? Not really, because I know factually I hit something, it's probably going to hurt my hand. That's knowledge, right? Take a hammer, smack your thumb, it's going to hurt. Do I believe it's not going to hurt? Doesn't mean it's not going to. But what I'm trying to say here is believing in somebody is not the same as knowing someone. I can believe in you and may not know who you are. I can believe in you all day long, even though I physically do not know you. That's the beauty of faith. I probably gave you some bad examples with the hammer and faith and knowing, but bad illustration points. I'm human. I make mistakes. But what I'm trying to make a point of is this. Knowledge is one thing. Faith is something completely different. You're never going to know until God calls you to that chamber in front of him. So keep the faith. Okay, guys. Out of everything I've said, if all you get is this, keep the faith. All right, guys. God loves you. God bless you. Remember to pray.